Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Hope you're having a great day out there. If you have not done so already, what are you waiting for? Join the Locked On Cougars Insider Group. You could get all the inside scoop I'm hearing on the transfer portal ahead of time. You don't have to wait for the podcast. The best part is it comes to your phone in the form of a text message. You can interact with the show via text message yourself by firing back with your responses. And the best part is you get 14 days of a free trial before you're charged a single penny. It's just $5 a month to be a member of the Locked On Cougars Insider Group. So would hope that many more of you out there in Cougar Nation would consider joining us today on the Locked On Cougars Insider Group. Link is in the show notes below, by the way, if you're looking for it. All right. Let's talk about this portal window in college football and how crazy it could be. If you missed this story on Sunday, I don't blame you. I was watching the Masters. I missed it until Monday. Ross Dellinger has been just absolutely doing yeoman's work in covering the house settlement situation. We referred to this house settlement so many different times. Essentially what the house settlement is, before I get a bevy of questions, it is the antitrust settlement that's going to settle 4 antitrust cases levied against the NCAA. That is where the roster cut downs for football to 105-man, cutting down the basketball rosters of 15 players. That's where this is stemming all from. But the effects of this house settlement do not go into effect until July 1st if it is finally approved by Judge Claudia Wilkin. She's based out there in Oakland, California. She's a federal judge who is going to rule on this case. Before July 1, it is still going to be that Wild West mentality when it comes to NIL. Post July 1, if this house settlement goes into effect, there's going to be a clearinghouse led by, I think it's Deloitte. They're one of the, you know what Deloitte is. They're like a management, I don't know how to describe them accurately. They do a bevy of different things. They obviously are a big part of the Olympics with regards to helping out with medal ceremonies, like making sure that everything's on the up and up, essentially. And that's what they'd be doing here. They'd be consulting on NIL deals, and there'd be a clearinghouse. If you want to have an NIL deal with a player post July 1, 2025, you are going to have to go through this clearinghouse. If it's over, I believe the parameters will be $600. You'll have to go through this. They'll have to vet, okay, what is going on here? Is it an actual deal that is pertaining to name, image, and likeness? And is it levying on both sides? Is the business requiring this athlete to do something in exchange for the money that's exchanging hands? That's what it's going to require. Well, before that, we've all seen this, that these NIL collectives, and BYU is not immune to this, is that they are paying players hefty sums to come and play for their favored programs. I talked earlier on the podcast about the Matador Club down there at Texas Tech. Them and BYU with the Royal Blue Collective, as well as Coug Connect, are considered to be 2 of the richest, if not the richest, NIL collectives in the Big 12 Conference and willing to fork over major cash. BYU can make an imprint here because the expectation is that this is going to be the final portal window where outlandish sums of money are exchanging hands, essentially for you signing with a program. The pay for play, I hate to call it that, but that's what it is. That is going to be coming to an end. And that is why, as Ross Dellinger writes here, is that there is there's an agent by the name of Jason Bloom. He's the general manager of AMP Sports, an agency representing 100 to 150 power conference football players. He says, quote, right now there's a ton of action. A lot of contracts are negotiated in December. We're going to have to renegotiate them in the spring. As people leave and guys move up the depth chart, their contract value increases in length. He mentions this later, that there were guys he negotiated deals. One got an offer for $800,000 to $1.2 million in December. Now that guy is getting $2 million offers, unquote. This comes from that Bloom character. The simple fact of the matter is you can still get away with paying guys, let's say a $2.5, $3 million contract right now. Whereas post July 1, Deloitte and the other people who are going to be looking at these NIL contracts may say, hey, what is going on here? Why are they getting this amount of money for what are they actually doing the work for? Like this is going to be the last portal window, and it could entice some guys to go into the portal for one last payday. That's the fact of life here with this portal window is you could see guys jump in the portal. I'm not saying it's BYU guys, but I would expect there will be some surprise guys who hop into the portal. We talked yesterday on the podcast, for those of you who are everydayers, Nico Iamaleava, I got corrected on it, Iamaleava from Tennessee. He obviously was trying to hold Tennessee hostage, and he apparently tried to do this, shake them down twice. Well, he's entered the portal looking for a major payday because I think he and his team that's representing him understand that post July 1, yeah, maybe cashing in for what he reportedly wanted, $4 million, won't fly in that new era of the NCAA and NIL. Right now, lock it in. BYU is going to obviously look into this as well because they understand that if they want to get some top tier talent, well, that top tier talent may hop in the portal right now and they're going to get some hefty offers, and BYU's got to be willing to pony up. I don't think BYU will back away in terms of being able to go out and add players that they want. They absolutely have shown that they've got that prowess with regards to NIL to bring in guys that they feel like can make them better, especially we've already seen with the basketball program because Robert Wright III, all he's done is piss off Baylor fans. But hey, BYU got a guy that they wanted and they paid for it. And I think this could be the same situation, but BYU is not the only one. There's going to be 130, we're up to 135 FBS programs. Some have got more cash than others. Obviously, Power 4 conference programs like a BYU have got far more resources than the lay G5 program. But I do think that all parties, if they want top tier talent, this may be the last time for guys of a certain caliber to really cash in for really not doing a lot on the other side of it. I understand that may be ruining your whole perception of college sports. I get all that, and really it's pay for play, and that's kind of been the antithesis of what college sports have been aspiring to be for decades. But I think we can safely say that era of college sports, it's been dead and gone for as many decades, it feels like, as it was hoped to be there for at the same time. It is going to be very interesting to see how this portal window operates because it's 10 days for guys to enter the portal. It's not no longer a month like it was back in December. But it's going to be curious to see which guys decide, hey, I'm opting out right now. I'm going to try and cash in one last time. And then if this house settlement does come into effect, is there a cooling off period of how much money will actually be exchanging hands going forward? Are we going back to bagmen at some point? And that's the thing about this. Is going to start flowing under the table. BYU has flourished, let's be real, in this NIL that has been above board, and you can offer essentially as much as you want. BYU has flourished with that. If it goes back to where there's a cap on it with regards to NIL, because the house settlement, let me be very blunt about this, it's not done yet, and it could still change with regards to what the NIL cap, or if there's even going to be a cap, could be. There's been arguments all across the board on what NIL should be with that house settlement, but there's obviously that pot of money with regards to player revenue sharing coming from the programs. There are millions upon millions of dollars out there floating around. And certain guys are going to take the initiative and go out and cash in on it, while others may stay put and, quite frankly, may miss out on a big payday they could have had they decided to jump into the portal in this window. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's kosher. I'm not saying it's good for anybody to do that, because obviously you're going to make your own team and your own fan base upset by doing something like that. But at the same time, we talk all the time, this is a business. Well, if you want to cash in to the tune of potentially hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, this may be the last time to really do that without some extra scrutiny over what you're signing, what the contract stipulates, and what you're actually doing to make said money. Because post July 1, I think it's going to be a very different world pending that house settlement finally coming into effect. And I do really wonder, like, looking at this portal cycle this year in the spring versus next year, how different the action might be. How many more guys may hop in this portal window versus how few potentially could jump in next year. It's all worth watching. And I, for one, I'll be passing along anything I hear, but at the same time, I'll be watching right alongside every single one of you to try and get a feel for really what the new reality looks like in college sports. All right, that is going to do it for today's edition of the podcast. As always, thank you for your support of the show, liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, sharing with your family and friends. If you're out on the cruising with the Cougs, make sure you pass along the word that, hey, this podcast is here for you guys every single day with inside analysis, insider tidbits, all things BYU every single day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. But as always, thank you for your support of Locked On Cougars. Thank you for being an everydayer with us. And of course, we'll be back with you guys again soon, tomorrow, right here on the Locked On Cougars podcast.